I'm going to show him what he's missing, so we'll get
I'm
him
going
out
to
here
give him a
next
tour
week.
while you're doing that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Beautiful.
All right, good to see you guys. We'll see you in a little bit.
See you, Josh.
Good to meet you.
Jim, we'll do a tour in here. You all right?
I don't know, Joshua might pick up your noise too much, though.
Hey, Jim, you have
All right, so where were we?
Um,
I'll leave it up to you whether you need to cut that out or not.
no. That was great. that was great. Where were we? We just tasted it. We talked about some of the smoky elements that I was getting coming back to it after having sipped it. That's what I was mentioning.
And then actually the smoke, I have to tell you, the peat is cut specifically on the mainland. It is not island peat. Now, I'm not going to tell you any more than that, but it was very important to us to have mainland peat.
Interesting. Okay.
Because some people say they pick up the iodine and all that stuff, but, maybe there's iodine in peat, but it's mainland peat.
Peat is so strange. You talked about Lafroig before. Lafroig peats their barley at 35 ppm or thereabouts, and their whiskey tends to be some of the smokiest, dirtiest, peatiest stuff around. But then you look at Ardbeg that does theirs at 55, and it's clean, it's briny. It's not a ton of smoke. Peat is just odd. And then what happens to the barley after it's turned into a beer and then distilled and then matured? There's so many things that can affect that peat effect.
Yeah, a lot of different variables.
So peat, you wanted mainland peat.
Yeah, we wanted mainland peat, and as you mentioned on the peat, depending on how you brew your beer, has a big impact, huge impact on the taste of the whiskey, and then of course where you make your cuts. So Lafroig, Ardbeg, they're going to have different flavors.
Yeah, sure.
Even they may have different peat levels, but if they make their cuts earlier, whatever you're going to cut out, more of the peats, the smoky elements come in later, and if you make your cuts early, you're not going to capture all the smoky elements.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Well, lovely stuff. I'm enjoying this. Now, you had mentioned to me, and I won't use some of the words here so as to protect the innocent. But you had mentioned a potential change, or maybe something you're going to do with batch 2.
Oh, sure.
Of the Campfire.
Yeah, we're there were some other reviewers that said, you know what, you ought to try rebarreling this. And so, for instance, if you've had Flaming Heart, the second version of it, a fabulous, chewy, big mouthfeel whiskey, and some other, well, for me, I'm very, very fond of it, and this is no Flaming Heart for me. Flaming Heart's beautiful, and I have a few bottles stashed away. But some people mentioned, you ought to try re-oaking it. And so we actually have 6 different oak barrels where we're rebarreling this as experiments, and we're going to, well, I don't know if we'll bring them all forward. If some of them aren't good, we won't. But if they are good, we'll bottle them, and at the New York Whiskey Fest this fall, we're luckily invited to a seminar where we'll have this unbarreled Campfire, and then we'll have the barreled stuff, and we'll have people taste them. And I don't know what the parameters are for how many we can taste and stuff, because I know there's a time limit.
Okay.
But we'll taste maybe this and the best oaked one to see if it improves things and see what the audience thinks.
Okay.
And I haven't talked about that with John Hansel, but he was very interested in us debuting something there that's new that no one's ever had. And the newness will be the barreled version, and we have, 6 different flavors of different oaked things going on.
Right.
Which is very, very exciting.
Will you be debuting anything else there? Some of your own distilled products? Because I know you've been distilling now. I think you said since 2007. I know you've been working on a single malt. I know you do your oat whiskey. You've got some rye that you do.
I don't know if we'll debut those there, but yes, so right now we are buying other stuff, which is very, very nice to kind of get the business going. But the passion is making it ourselves, and so one of the first distillates that we made on our pilot still was we distilled everything. The one I enjoyed the most was the oat. Oats have a beautiful, beautiful flavor, and so we're making a whiskey. We sell it unaged. We call it silver oat, and it's really kind of vanilla-y, fruity, saltwater taffy. It's a nice mixer.
I get marshmallows on it.
Marshmallows, yeah. I mean, who
Marshmallows,
doesn't like
yeah.
marshmallows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Except losers and stuff like that. But we have a lot of rye whiskey barrels that we're dumping for our rendezvous and our double rye. The refills that they call first fill in Scotland, we call those second fill here.
Yeah.
We're filling those with oat whiskey and Scotch whiskey. We're making a malt whiskey. I shouldn't say Scotch because we're not aged in Scotland. So something akin to Scotch whiskey, but made with malted barley. Here.
Okay. Blending the two distillates or keeping them?
So we'll have an all barley malt whiskey and an all oat whiskey, and then we're also making our own rye whiskey, and we're making it in what we call the old Monongahela style, where it's 20% rye malt, 80% unmalted rye, and so we're aging those on their own.
Okay.
Our oat whiskey we're aging, and it's actually technically a light whiskey, and what you might call a grain whiskey in Scotland, but they have different rules. So we distill ours to about 85%, and 85% means about 190 proof. Vodka has to be distilled to 100. Well, sorry, not 85%, 82%. So 164. That's what it is.
Okay.
And straight whiskey here has to be distilled to 80% below. Vodka has to be distilled to 95% or above. So we're above straight and below vodka. So it's a little cleaner, but it's a really beautiful spirit. But it's lighter, and that's why we picked the used oak for those spirits, or for the oat spirit. The barley whiskey, the malted barley whiskey, we distill at about 150, and our rye whiskey we distill at about 140. So.
Okay, and the barley, is that all malted, or will it be a mixture of malted and unmalted?
100% malted.
Okay. Okay.
So akin to a Scotch, but again, we're not Scottish soil. So.
Okay. One more question for you, and I know we're getting away from Campfire. I do want to come back to the Campfire. I mean, I keep on coming back to it because it's so good.
I'm drinking faster than you, so I'm going to pour a little more.
That's okay.
And I really dig it, by the way. So, in fact, we have a restaurant, and I'm shameless, Josh, so you'll have to know that about me. We got voted the best restaurant in Park City the last 2 years in a row by the readers of City Weekly, which is kind of the People's magazine.
Okay.
And that's just me saying what someone else has said. I'm not tooting my own horn. Yeah. But what that means is, I mean, Park City is a world-class ski destination. We have a lot of great food here in town, and there are fancier restaurants than us, but we have a great, great chef, and we're kind of low-down, casual. But with the Campfire, we actually created a dessert to go with this.
Really?
And a s'more. And everybody's heard of s'more, I hope.
Yeah.
But s'mores with Hershey, I'm not a big fan of Hershey's chocolate because it's kind of waxy.
Yeah.
So we use a local chocolatier that has it's a 68% cacao content. We make a homemade marshmallow and a homemade graham cracker. And it's really pretty, and it's really good with the Campfire whiskey.
That sounds lovely.
Oh, it's really good, yeah. You got to come. I'm telling you.
I know. We'll figure it out. So the question I had, and again, this is something that you could choose not to answer, I could clip. But the question I had is, I know you had gone to Scotland a week or two back.
Yeah.
Visiting various distilleries, and with the idea, basically, that you were looking for ideas for building an all-new distillery. And I'm just curious what your plans are. Are you looking at how would the distillery look? Are you looking at, should I go for a combination of pot stills and column stills, like what Woodford does? I mean, what elements were you looking at?
That's a good question. Well, we're in a very fortunate position where business is pretty good, and it's good enough to where we have a warehouse other than we have two old historic buildings in downtown Park City, and they're not very big. And so most of what happens here is we distill, and we have a restaurant, but we ship our distillate down to Salt Lake City. We have a warehouse, and we're busting at the seams, so we need to move.
Okay.
So we're looking at a place out. There's a really nice guy that has a dude ranch, and he's building a resort, and he's asked us to run his food operation. And we said, we'd love to do that, but do you have any spare space? Because we need a place to age our barrels. And he said, I have 3,000 acres. And we said, wow, that's a lot of room. And he said, you could build on this. So we're actually looking at his site to build our bottling, warehousing, aging facility. And then while we're at it, we need extra still capacity. I'm a big fan of pots, so we are going to build pots.
Beautiful.
I really like the Forsyth stills from Scotland, or the Forsyth style stills. So we'll probably end up with those. We're looking at our expanded distillery there. So it's about 10 minutes out of Park City, but it's on a dude ranch, and it's a working cattle ranch.
I need to stop you there. We're starting to lag, and then
Skype lag?
Yeah, your screen went black. So maybe if I hang up and call you right back.
I'm down with that.
Okay, cool. Call you right back.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, much better.
Yeah. So you're Clark Kent now, but you're Superman in that picture. That's all I gotta say.
And I took my glasses off too. I would have really been Clark Kent.
Yeah, you're very sexy with your glasses off.
Well, thank you. Oh, wow, there it is.
I can see it.
Well, you know what it is, though? You, as compared to a lot of people out there, you've got a much more hipster look about you. And I say that in a good way, because hipsters actually annoy the living shit out of me. But you look good.
Yeah, they annoy me, too. Like, for instance, Lance Winters at Hangar 1.
Okay.
He's so fucking cool. And he doesn't annoy the shit out of me, but he's so cool. It's like, I wish I were him. You know what I'm saying? He's so cool. I mean, and he's a nice guy to boot.
Yeah.
And he's smart, too,
Yeah.
He's very hipster. So I'm a big fan of Lance Winters.
Nice.
Hipster guy. And he's got a great whiskey, too, by the way.
I don't know if I know it. Hangar 1.
Go get some St. George single malt.
Oh, St. George. I know St. George. Yeah. Fantastic stuff.
You gotta do a Skype with Lance. He's cool. He's a smart guy.
Yeah. That would be cool. That would be very cool.
All right.
So I wanted to end your thought before. You liked the Forsyth style pot stills.
Yeah. So we have a pot still now, and we're very comfortable with it, and we got our protocol down, and we know how to operate pot still. We don't know how to operate a continuous still. So we're going to get pots, and the ones made in Scotland. I'm a Jag guy. I'm not a Porsche guy. I love Scottish stills. So
yeah.
If we can afford one, if we can get one, that's the goal. But we'll see.
So one last question about the Campfire.
Yeah.
And actually, this may be a question in general to the whiskeys that you release. And then I was hoping you can quickly show me around your distillery, because that would be cool.
Fair enough.
So everything you release is in a series of batches. So the bottle you sent me, batch number 1, bottle 643. How do you run your batches? How many casks or barrels do you generally put in a batch, or does it change?
It can change, but the big driver is you have a mixing tank, and we have an 800-gallon mixing tank, and so that really drives. So we probably fill it with about 750 gallons, and that drives our batch. So there's no magic to them, and depending on the product, the recipe's essentially the same. But for instance, our double rye, which I'm very fond of, and the goal with double rye was to showcase what a young, spicy rye can be like.
Yeah.
And so every batch in the gold, you know, we have stuff